kind of legendary, and now a bunch of archaeologists from Israel have just found King Solomon's tomb. Can you believe it? It's been hidden for over 3,000 years. So what kind of treasures and clues about the past did they find? Join us as we dive into this mystery together and see what secrets King Solomon's tomb holds. King Solomon's tomb, a historic discovery. For ages, people have been on the hunt for King Solomon's tomb. Some folks thought the whole thing was just a story since nobody had found it yet. But not anymore. A bunch of smart scientists and treasure hunters led by this awesome lady named Eilat Mazar made a mind-blowing discovery. They found the spot where King Solomon's final resting place might be, right in the city of David. Now, this wasn't Dr. Mazar's first rodeo. Back in 1986, she found a super-old gatehouse near the city of David. At the time, she couldn't say for sure if it was Solomon's, so she kept quiet about it. Fast forward to 2009, Dr. Mazar decided to dig around the gatehouse again. Can you believe she found a whole bunch of super-old stuff everywhere she dug? This stuff was like a time capsule from way back when King Solomon was alive. With all these new clues, she took another look at the gatehouse and realized it was probably built around the 10th century BC, which is when King Solomon was boss. So why should we trust Dr. Mazar's findings? Dr. Eilat Mazar was no ordinary scientist. She was a brilliant mind with a deep-seated respect for the scientific method. Her favorite saying, "We must let the stones speak," perfectly captured her approach to archaeology. It was as if the artifacts themselves held the key to unlocking the past, and Mazar was determined to listen intently. Even outside the world of academia, her reputation was stellar. Herschel Shanks, a well-known American lawyer, wrote a glowing article about her in 2007 for Biblical Archaeology Review. He didn't mince words when he praised her professional skills, saying that no one would dare question her abilities as an archaeologist. Mazar was often labeled a biblical scientist, a term that accurately reflected her unique approach to research. Unlike many of her colleagues who kept their religious belief separate from their work, she saw no conflict between the Bible and scientific inquiry. In fact, she believed that the two could complement each other, offering different yet equally valuable perspectives on the past. This open-minded attitude was refreshing in a field where science and religion were often seen as opposing forces. Among the countless treasures unearthed at the excavation site, over 30 bulli were discovered. These tiny clay seals, once used to close documents, held the potential to reveal fascinating details about the people and events of the past. One particular bulla caught Mazar's eye, sparking a level of excitement that was rare in the usually reserved world of archaeology. Her enthusiasm was a stark contrast to the skepticism that often greeted attempts to combine science and religion. It was clear that Mazar's deep knowledge of archaeology was instrumental in making this groundbreaking discovery. What made this find even more remarkable was that the team hadn't set out to find Solomon's tomb. Their initial goal was much grander. They were searching for the remains of King David's palace. While digging through the oldest part of Jerusalem, they stumbled upon something truly colossal. A massive wall segment stretching over 2,110 feet. Known locally as the Cave of the Kings, this mysterious structure was shrouded in intrigue. Who built it? What was its purpose? The archaeologists were eager to uncover the secrets hidden within its ancient stones. The segment they uncovered included a gatehouse, a corner tower, and a royal structure. The archaeologists were stunned by the wall's size, suspecting it might be part of an even grander building, like a temple or palace. They were thrilled at the possibility that this structure was connected to King Solomon's reign. Radiocarbon dating indicated that the site was from the period when King Solomon ruled. Dr. Mazar noted that this was the first time they had found a structure from that era that could match the descriptions of King Solomon's buildings in Jerusalem. But could this have been built by another king and not Solomon? So why is she so sure that it is Solomon's? Well, Dr. Mazar explained that there weren't many kings from the 10th century who could have built such a structure. Essentially, it could only have been David or Solomon. According to the Bible, King David, known for his battle with Goliath, was the father of King Solomon, who is credited with constructing the first temple of Jerusalem on the Temple Mount. Ceramics discovered near the wall helped date the structure to the second half of the 10th century BC, which was the era of King Solomon. Near the gatehouse, they found large earth and water storage vessels, one of which bore a Hebrew inscription indicating it belonged to a high-ranking government official. Other finds included figurines typical of 10th century BC Jerusalem, such as four-legged animals and large-breasted women, likely symbolizing fertility. Moreover, archaeologists found jar handles with inscriptions mentioning the king and various Hebrew names. This makes the discovery even more fascinating and important. The historical and archaeological value of these finds cannot be overstated, as they provide a deeper understanding of the period and its people. The monumental goal of uncovering King Solomon's temple, finding King Solomon's temple, has been a big dream for archaeologists for ages. It's like searching for a legendary treasure chest filled with history. Recently, they stumbled upon a pretty cool discovery, a piece of an old wall in Jerusalem's Ophel area. This spot is super old, and people think it's where King David, Solomon's dad, had his palace. This new find is like adding a missing puzzle piece to the story of the area. It makes the tales about King Solomon, the super famous ruler of ancient Israel, seem even more real. Before, some people thought he was just a small-time leader, but this discovery paints a picture of him as a powerful king who ruled over a big kingdom, just like the Bible says. The city of David, named after Solomon's dad, is thought to be the oldest part of Jerusalem. It's like the city's grandparent. People believe this is where King David set up shop after kicking out the Jebusites who lived there before. Lots of cool old stuff has been found here, giving us a peek into Jerusalem's early days. The city of David, also called Wadi Hilweh, is a really important archaeological site. It's like an open book about what Jerusalem looked like thousands of years ago. This place is packed with history, from super old walls to fancy stone buildings. It's like a time machine that takes us back to the Bronze and Iron Ages. One of the coolest things ever found in the city of David is the Solomon Tunnel, which people also call Hezekiah's Tunnel. It's like the super old, super smart way to bring water into the city. You won't believe how clever the people who lived in Jerusalem back then were. We used to think King Hezekiah built it, but some new digging around says it might be even older than that. And guess what else they found nearby? A Roman-era pool called the Pool of Solomon, and a really neat set of steps. Today, you can visit all these amazing old places because they're part of the Jerusalem Walls National Park. It's run by the Israel Nature and Parks Authority, but the Ir David Foundation is in charge of the day-to-day stuff. You can find this park in Wadi Hilweh, which is kind of like an extension of the Silwan neighborhood in East Jerusalem. There's also an Israeli settlement close by. It's a pretty important place for archaeologists to learn about the past. The quest for royal tombs. Another cool thing they found is a huge stone building that some people think might be the leftovers of King David's palace. If this giant building really is connected to David and Solomon, it shows just how important the city of David was back in the day when they were kings. It was like the center of power and running things. Even though they've made some amazing discoveries and found really important stuff lately, archaeologists before them had a tough time finding any royal tombs for Solomon or the kings after him. There are a few reasons why those old king tombs were missing in action. Maybe the city of David is just so big that they haven't looked everywhere yet. Or with all the wars and crazy stuff that happened in Jerusalem over the years, the tombs might have been destroyed or really messed up. It's possible they're buried under newer buildings. But these challenges didn't stop archaeologists from hunting for those royal tombs. They knew how important it would be to find them, because it would tell us a lot about the kings of ancient Israel and how they did things back then. Discovering those tombs would give us a peek into how they ran the country and what they were like as people. It would be like finding a treasure trove of information about life in ancient Israel. Even though they haven't found the tombs yet, the stuff they have found in the city of David is still super cool. The Temple Mount, the mysteries of Solomon's temple. Finally, there's the Temple Mount, which is where a lot of people think Solomon's temple used to be. This area is important to a lot of people because it's holy in different religions like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. But until then, the mystery lives on. Another interesting place archaeologists actively trying to decipher is Zedekiah's Cave. Zedekiah's Cave, Secrets of Zedekiah's Cave. Way down under the noisy, busy streets of Jerusalem's old city, there's a secret world full of mystery and old stories. Imagine a place hidden in the dark, with walls that whisper tales of ages gone by. That's Zedekiah's Cave. People also call it Solomon's Quarries. It's a huge hole in the ground made of limestone rock, and it's been a puzzle for smart people, adventurers, and curious travelers for hundreds of years. Legend says this giant underground space, big enough for 5 city blocks, was a hideout for King Zedekiah, a ruler from Judea in the 6th century before Jesus was born, when the Babylonian army was trying to take over Jerusalem. The story goes that King Zedekiah ran away to hide in the cave. A famous storyteller named Roshi tells a super exciting tale about Zedekiah's escape. He says the king hid in the cave and ran through its twisty tunnels towards the plains of Jericho. But sadly, he got caught and blinded by the Babylonians. It's one of those ancient tales that adds to the cave's mysterious vibe. People have all kinds of opinions about this cave. Some say it was where the stones were cut for the first temple that King Solomon built. That's why some folks call it Solomon's Quarries. They think it's where the huge building blocks for the temple were carved out. That would make it one of the most sacred and historically significant underground spots in the entire region. Back in 1854, a guy named James Barclay stumbled upon the entrance to Zedekiah's cave by accident. He was walking his dog when the pup ran into a hole near the Damascus Gate, and boom, he found this massive underground space. Imagine that. Just walking your dog and discovering ancient ruins. Since then, all kinds of explorers and scientists have gone down there, trying to figure out its secrets. They found signs that people were cutting stone there for centuries, maybe even as far back as King Solomon's time. But the cave isn't just about rocks and old legends. Over the years, people have said it might be connected to other hidden places under Jerusalem. There are even whispers of secret tunnels and chambers that stretch far beyond what we can see. Some adventurers have tried to map the cave system, but many believe we've only scratched the surface of what's down there. Could these tunnels lead to Solomon's lost treasures? Or perhaps even his tomb? It's enough to make your imagination go wild. And speaking of Solomon's tomb, the cave and the city of David aren't the only contenders in this ancient mystery. Some think the true burial site might still be hidden under layers of dirt, debris, and history, just waiting to be found. That's why new discoveries like the ones made by Dr. Mazar and her team are so important. Every piece of pottery, every wall fragment, every bulla with a name etched in it helps piece together a puzzle that's thousands of years old. Let's not forget that King Solomon wasn't just a king. He was a legendary figure known for his wisdom, wealth, and connections to some pretty fantastic stories. He's said to have had control over spirits and demons, and even possessed a magical ring. Some ancient texts say Solomon used this ring to command supernatural forces to help him build the first temple. Others claim he hid secret knowledge and treasure, encoded in architecture and rituals. So the search for his tomb isn't just about digging up a body, it's about unlocking secrets that could reshape our understanding of history, religion, and myth. Many modern archaeologists remain cautious. They want to make sure every claim is backed by hard evidence. But when you find a massive 2,000-foot wall, storage jars with royal inscriptions, and a structure matching biblical descriptions, it's hard not to get excited. These aren't random stones, they're chapters of a forgotten book, slowly being reread for the first time in thousands of years. The idea that we're standing on the very foundations of Solomon's Jerusalem is awe-inspiring. And then there's the political side of things. Jerusalem is one of the most contested and sensitive cities in the world. Every archaeological find is wrapped up in modern politics. Some discoveries are used to strengthen claims of historical ties to the land, while others are dismissed by groups with opposing beliefs. That's why digs in places like the city of David or Zedekiah's cave can be so controversial. They're not just about science, they're about identity, faith, and national narratives. But science keeps moving forward. Today's archaeologists are using cutting-edge tools, like ground-penetrating radar, satellite imaging, and 3D modeling, to uncover what lies beneath ancient Jerusalem. This isn't just old-school pickaxes and shovels anymore. It's high-tech sleuthing, and it's bringing the past into sharper focus than ever before. And with every layer of earth they remove, with every seal they examine under a microscope, they get closer to the truth. Let's talk a bit more about